Valley Metro is offering a free STEM program for middle school students called Engineers of the Future, in which students are mentored by engineers working on light rail construction. Horizonte host Jose Cardenas learned more from Valley Metro's Tony Santana.
Tony, it's good to see you again. You've talked to us before about Valley Metro's Engineers of the Future program. Tell us about the program's origins and how it worked pre-pandemic.
So what we had is the Engineers of the Future program that started, that's focused on STEM, that started about 2 years ago. And like you said, before the pandemic, we did go into classrooms and have lessons that would discuss physics, motions, things that are really focused on science, engineering, technology, and math. So we really went into those courses, and every time we would, an engineer like myself or one of my colleagues that's a contractor or from the city of Phoenix would go into there and discuss engineering and really have that first forced portion of the class to discuss science, technology, engineering, and math, and have a different subject every time. And then we would get into the projects that we have for the students.
And the classes you were going into, these were middle schoolers, right?
That is correct. We did go to middle schoolers. Focused on, we did have some sixth graders, but we did have a heavy focus on the seventh and eighth graders as well.
And then the pandemic hit. How did that affect the program?
Yeah, just like all of us, we had to adapt. And I think a lot of us, just like this meeting today, we're on Zoom. So what we're going to do is now still have the program, still have the mentors like myself that will give lectures and try to focus on some of those science aspects of the program. But what we're going to do is have that available through YouTube and online to the students. So we will still be doing the same focus, but at the same time, obviously not be in person, and we'll be using technology in our favor to have it accessible to the students.
Any sense for whether you're going to be able to have the same reach that you did before, given concerns that many schools have had, particularly those in lower income neighborhoods, with access to the internet?
No, we're trying to do whatever we can and working closely with the schools to see what kind of access they have, like you said, in internet, and see what students have availability to that. And if not, we can see how we can provide those resources to the schools to make sure that those students do have access to internet and our YouTube channels or any website that we have for the Engineers of the Future program.
You've been a mainstay of the program since it started. As I understand it, it's actually in many respects a reflection of your own personal experiences, your life journey to becoming an engineer. Give us a little bit of insight into what this means to you and what do you think it means to kids like what you were a few years ago?
Yeah, so for myself, I actually grew up inner city, right off the I-17 in Jefferson. My father still lives there today, so I did grow up in inner city Phoenix. I didn't have, my parents are very hardworking. They did whatever they can to push education on me, but I just didn't have somebody to readily accessible to me as an engineer or somebody to tell me how I can apply my math skills and my science skills into making it a career. So what this means to me is just being available to those students like I was at one point in their life, or where they're at in their life, and just being able to give them that, give them those lectures and that mentorship to say, hey, you can do something with science, technology, engineering, math. We all know these kids love to play TikTok and all these things on their phone, but I think that this is a really good base to have. It's very analytical. You can use science, technology, engineering, math in all aspects of life, and I want to be that mentor to these students early in their life, so they can, when they get into high school and then on to college, we can really know that they have opportunities out there and mentors like myself to be there to help them start their career and be that to them, so they can have a good life and live and actually do good things for us, because the future is very important. I want to make sure we have good transportation, good nurses, doctors as I get older, and I want to make sure these kids are the future, and the future is bright for them.
So when you're talking to these kids, and again, we're talking middle schoolers, many of whom I would think, at least initially, wouldn't have much of an interest in the STEM fields in science. What are you seeing? What kind of reactions do you get?
At first, the kids are really shy, and the first thing we do is we really try to break them out of that and get them to work in the team and speak up. And I really think they really are interested in the science, the STEM portion of the project. But once we started to apply it to the projects and real life features, they really seem interested. They're really interactive. There's a lot of questions, and we're here as engineers to give them answers. And they go beyond even the project. They start asking us more questions about what engineers do and how does it apply to like some of their apps and the things that they play on their phone and all the games. So it really starts asking questions, and that's the whole goal of it, is just to get their minds working to understand that there is a bigger picture out there if you start focusing on STEM, and that's to get the kids excited about it. And that's, we've really seen a lot of change in the kids in just a short time that we have in these programs. So.
I remember the last time you were on our show, you had several students and you showed some of their work too, some actually fairly impressive and elaborate, as I recall, a station for the light rail.
That is correct. So one thing that we focus even on our projects is we really want to make sure that we have welcoming stations, and those stations have things like artwork and just shade, and especially in the summertime in Phoenix. So we really focused on a station project, like you said, with the students, and they just wowed us with some of the things that they were creative about and thought through. And it was, and just like they showed on the show, they really spoke well about their projects, and their mind was just incredible once they started thinking. So it was really great to see that.
So Tony, while we've got you on the show, what's the status of the light rail extension into South Phoenix?
The status is it's on schedule to open by 2024. They are building right now. They're actively doing a lot of the projects. So when you see these light rail projects, the light rail is a small portion of what we actually do. We actually widen the road. We make it ADA accessible with the sidewalks. There's a lot of utility relocations. So that's the portion you're seeing right now, is a lot of utility relocations. And then the next step you'll see is some road widening. And then finally, you'll see a light rail project go in there. But that's, I think when we build these projects, we really get the community involved. We really want to transcend that area and make it a pipeline for people to really live, work, play. I live here now in downtown right next to the light rail. Right here on Central Roosevelt, and I take the train almost every day to places to go eat, to go to other cities like Tempe. So it's really good to just connect you to different avenues and have another mode of transportation.
Sounds like things are going well. Tony Santana, Project Manager, Capital and Service Development Division for Valley Metro. Thanks so much for giving us this report.
Thank you.